So you're looking at moving you and your family over to Vancouver Island, and you're starting to do your market research early. You start to think about what's the most affordable communities on Vancouver Island, or what are the safest cities and towns on Vancouver Island, or maybe you're retiring. What's the best place to retire on the island? Well, these are the questions we get each and every day from our clients like you looking to make the move to Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island is a huge landmass. It takes over 12 hours to drive from Victoria to Port Hardy and 4 hours to drive across from Nanaimo to Tofino. And if you haven't lived here, how do you know what's going to suit what you and your family need? Well, we're going to dive into all those questions today and answer them. And if you stick around to the end, we're going to give you what is the prediction for home prices in 2025 right here on Vancouver Island. So we're going to answer all of those questions and more. So let's get after it right now. Hey, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to all of our followers and all of our subscribers. Thank you for liking our channels, commenting on our videos, and sharing them with your family and friends. If you're new to the channel, you'll want to click on that subscribe button down below and tap that little bell so you'll be the first to get real estate information and the lifestyle about living on Vancouver Island. My name is Justin White with the High Tide Real Estate Group. My team and I get phone calls, emails, and texts from people like you, and you looking to make Vancouver Island their new home. So no matter if you're 5 weeks or 5 months away from making the move to Vancouver Island, all of our contact details are down below. Feel free, reach out, set up a Zoom call with me, Justin White, or one of the agents on our team. Let's get those questions answered today so that we can make the move smooth and easy for your family. The first question we get asked most often is, what's the most affordable community to live on Vancouver Island? With the rising costs of homes, rising costs of building supplies, gasoline, clothing, food, everything keeps going up, except for our wages. So this is why it's so important to figure out what's that budget that's gonna work best for you and your family, and to find a place that fits within that. Now, before we get in what is the most affordable community, we gotta talk about what's the most expensive community. And that would be the Greater Victoria area. And that includes areas like Victoria, Oak Bay, Petter Bay, Bear Mountain, the Langford, the Western communities. These are all encompassing of the Greater Victoria area. Now, the population of the area is 401,000. So when we talk about that 1 million on the whole island, that is 40% of the population crammed into the southern tip of Vancouver Island. So let's talk about rent right now. The rent in 2024, average rent was $2,362. Now that's as an average. Some of the 3-bedroom homes down there will go for $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and condos easily go for 1-bedroom condos, $1,600, $1,800, $2,000 a month, but the average is $2,362. Now, if you're looking to purchase a home, we're going to talk about single family dwellings in the Victoria area. The average price in 2024 was $1,232,000. But maybe you don't need a single family dwelling and you're just looking for a townhome. The average townhome price was $766,000. Then we talk about condominiums. Maybe you're looking to downsize. Maybe you're single or you're just a professional couple where you don't need that space. The average condo price in Victoria was $550,000 in 2024. Interestingly enough, in January 2025, the Black Press Media reported the most expensive property on Vancouver Island was located in Oak Bay, just outside of Victoria downtown area, at a price of $17.3 million. So if you and your family are looking for luxury homes, check out our other video where we go into luxury homes, we go into mansions, we tour the neighborhoods in the Comox Valley. If you're looking for ocean views, you're looking for that luxury, that higher taste in life, check out our YouTube video on the luxury homes in the Comox Valley. Now we've talked about the most expensive area on Vancouver Island. Now let's talk about the most affordable community to buy in on the island. And that would be the Port Alberni Valley. Now, Port Alberni is a 35-minute drive from Nanaimo. You go up over the bypass, which is actually the mountain, and you drop into the Port Alberni Valley. Now, Port Alberni is also known as the gateway to the West Coast. So by crossing across the island, you will have to go through Port Alberni if you're going to places like Bamfield, Ucluelet, or world famous Tofino. So if you're going out and you want to do some storm watching in the winter, if you're going out to do surfing, if you want to walk through the rainforests, you're going to be driving through Port Alberni. So a lot of the economy in Port Alberni feeds off the summer traffic. Now, to give you an idea how busy it is, in Tofino, the population is 1,600 people on average, but in the summertime, goes up to 3 million people. That's how many visitors they have in Tofino just in the summer months. And they all have to go through Port Alberni. Now the population in Port Alberni is smaller. It's 18,200 people. One of the major employers in the Port Alberni area is the mill. They have a sawmill there, a pulp mill there. So that is one of the major ones. Other than that, you've got a lot of tourism, restaurants, but the valley is starting to grow. And the reason for that, affordability. To give you an average rent in Port Alberni, it is $1,200 in 2024. The average single family dwelling in Port Alberni, $600,000. If you're looking for a townhome, not a huge amount of a difference at $523,000. And then if you're getting into a condo, $258,000 for the average condo. And this is in 2024. So you can see how this is making it very attractive for people. Of course, you're not going to have the major metropolitan shopping there, but they do have a Walmart Supercenter. They do have Loblaws. They do have Canadian Tire. They do have a lot of those stores that are needed in order to make these communities work. It is a thriving fishing community. When you drive through Port Alberni, you'll definitely see that. There's a lot of sports fishing that goes on there. Question number 2, what is the safest town on Vancouver Island? If you're looking to make the move, you want to be now thinking about what is the safest town because of the investment that you're making if you're looking to purchase property. Also, if you have a family, young children like I do, you want to think about what's the safest area for them to grow up. You know, if they're going to school, walking the streets, playing with their friends. And the third part is if you are a senior and you're looking to retire, you know, you want to think about your safety in the respects of your mobility, right? And your surroundings and where you are. Now, crime is everywhere in every community. But when we think about smaller communities versus larger, usually the smaller communities have a lower rate because it's based on population. Victoria and Nanaimo on one hand have a higher crime rate because of the amount of the population, which also increases the homeless issue that they have there. And associated with that is going to be the drug addiction and drug problems, which create a lot of desperate people that take desperate measures. Now, in those smaller communities, it doesn't mean that there's not crime happening there. Some of them have a higher rate than others. So let's jump in. Let's take a look to the statistics of what these crime rates are based on crimes that have happened in 2022. When we're looking at crime on Vancouver Island and which is the safest communities, we've got to talk about two different types of crime. Number one is the crime severity index. So we're going to take a look at that. As you'll be able to see, these stats were from 2022. So these are the most recent stats. The other stat we want to talk about is the violent crime severity. So there's two differences. What does that mean? If you were to break a law like shoplifting, it would go into the crime severity index, of course. But if it was an assault, where it was actually a violent crime or a murder. Now, at the top of our list here, we're looking at is Duncan. Duncan is approximately an hour and 15 minutes north of Victoria, and it is 30 minutes south of Nanaimo. Now, if you look at this, it had the number one amount of crime severity in all of Vancouver Island, slightly behind Port Alberni, which is a lot smaller of a community. And then when we look at the violent crimes, we have number one being Port Alberni and number two being Duncan. So these are communities here where the crime rate is very high. So if you're looking to live there, raising your family, if you're a senior citizen and you're concerned about your mobility and crime that way, these are two areas that you may want to not look at moving into, depending on how safe you're going to feel. Now, flipping this around the other way in the crime severity index, one of the most safest spots on the island or communities is Metchosin district. And where Metchosin is it's just outside of Victoria downtown by a 25-minute drive. It's actually as you're going towards Stook area. It's a beautiful community. My family actually went there. We have an RV. We went and rented. There's a nice RV park down there, Petter Bay RV Park. So if you're looking for a place to park your trailer, what's great about that is it's in a quiet little cove right on the ocean. The campsites are spectacular. And then you can drive 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and you're right in the inner harbor of Victoria, where you can tour the Empress Hotel. You've got the Royal BC Museum there with the IMAX theater. You can take the little water taxis and go around the inner harbor, go over to Fisherman's Wharf, enjoy Barb's Fish and Chips. There's shows, there's entertainment, everything right down there. And yet you drive back to your campsite where your RV is, and it's totally safe. Metchosin is also an area that has more acreages, so the homes are spread out. Thus, what we're seeing is a lower crime severity index. Also, the other area, Central Saanich. Now, Central Saanich, that's going to be where that ferry comes in that Sydney area. So that is going to be also another safe one. It is one of the safest areas on Vancouver Island because that crime rate is so low. Now, going over to the violent crimes on the other side, we're going to see Qualicum Beach. Now, Qualicum Beach is 30 minutes south of Courtenay in the Comox Valley, and it's going to be 30 minutes north of Nanaimo. Qualicum Beach is an area that's quiet. It's got a nice, quaint little downtown. It's on the ocean, and it is somewhere that actually my parents looked at buying and living in, either Qualicum Beach or they were looking at Comox. They ended up going to Comox. And then the other community, again, there goes Metchosin district. So on both the crime and the violent crime, Metchosin district is one of the safest spots. So when you're looking at this, I'll put the link for this graph down below. This is really important for you to take a look at because with the fentanyl pandemic that is going on across not just Canada, but across international, we're seeing a lot of homeless on the rise. We're seeing a lot of drug addiction, and with that comes crime. I know Vancouver Island is known as a little sleepy area and it's very safe, but we're seeing this here as well. As this drug addiction goes up, so does the crime, and it's affecting every area across North America, including Vancouver Island. So this is something you want to look at. Which is the safest communities to live in on Vancouver Island? Question number 3, what are the best areas to retire on Vancouver Island? A lot of the people who are coming here to Vancouver Island are looking to enjoy the golden years. They've worked hard all their life and now they're ready to take the plunge and to cash out on their investment if they own property in Toronto, Calgary, or Vancouver and enjoy the golden years and also the island lifestyle. So we're going to cover the top 3 areas that retirees are making their home on Vancouver Island. Number 1 is going to be Victoria. Victoria is a beautiful city and it is very mild. There's a lot of things to do, and because it's spread out, there's a lot of choice if you're looking to retire, depending if you're independent living, if you're looking for assisted living, or if you're looking for long-term care. It has one of the most amount of options on Vancouver Island. Now, the pros of Victoria, of course, number 1 is going to be the breathtaking natural scenery with the ease access to outdoor activities. So if you're looking to walk along the path at Dallas Road and take in the Olympic mountain range, or if you're looking to even go up on Mount Ptolemy, you're able to drive up there and overlook all of Shelburne and Mackenzie. Or if you're going to go to the other side to the western communities, there's access to medical, there's access to shopping, there's everything that seniors need. The second point of a pro is going to be the mild climates that are year around. The cherry blossom trees start to bloom down in Victoria in March, which is one of the warmest spots in all Canada, and it's mild all year. If we do get snow, it usually melts within 2 to 3 days, so it's great for people who have arthritic problems, hip problems, aches and pains because of the mild temperature. The other pros, obviously it's vibrant arts and culture scene. When you're in Victoria, there's a lot more shows to take in, live music. The Royal BC Museum is down there, which always has changing exhibits. So there is that arts and culture scene, which is big down there. The next pro would be the abundance of dining options. You know, everything from fine dining to takeout to seafood to Italian. There are so many different restaurants down in Victoria. I think you could spend a whole year dining out and not go back to the same restaurants. Now, always pros, there's always cons. Now, cons of Victoria is number one is the high cost of living. You know, if you're renting, if you're buying a home, eating out, gasoline, clothing, the price is just a little bit higher down in Victoria. Second con is it is the biggest city in the island. So it can be a pro or con depending how you're looking at it, but traffic down there is going to be a lot thicker and a lot busier than what it will be in the smaller communities. Also, if you're looking to live near the downtown area, the housing is definitely pushed in. So you're gonna be looking at condominiums, you're gonna be looking at townhomes, you're gonna have neighbors very close by. You're also gonna have sound, road sound, people walking by, so things to think about. And then the third con, I just mentioned it, is traffic congestion, especially during the peak tourist season. So if you're looking to go from downtown Victoria to Colwood or the Western communities, be prepared in the summer. It could be 30 to 50 minutes of a drive. And Victoria only has one highway, which is the Trans-Canada Highway going in and out of it. And it has the Malahat, which is sometimes in treacherous weather can be actually shut down. So if you're trying to come in and out of Victoria, sometimes you can be blocked into Victoria due to weather or due to landslides as well, or motor vehicle accidents with transport trucks. So these are some of the things to think about when you look at Victoria. Now, the number 2 area that seniors are flocking to is Nanaimo. Now, Nanaimo is that central part of Vancouver Island. It is a larger city. There's 112,000 people that live in the Nanaimo area. We've got those 2 BC ferry sailing routes that go right into Nanaimo, which make it very desirable. But Nanaimo is still spread out of a city. So you can go all the way from Lanceville all the way down to Cedar. They actually have the Old Island Highway going in through the heart of the town. Then they've got the Highway 19A that's coming on the outside called the Nanaimo Bypass. Now, every time we go to Nanaimo, it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So the population may have even increased from the time of making this video. Now, pros of Nanaimo: stunning natural surroundings with plenty of outdoor activities. You've got Mount Benson if you want to do some trails and hiking. They have a paved path that goes all the way along the Nanaimo Parkway. So if you're in a wheelchair or if you looking to ride easy bike ride, it's paved path most of the way. Or if you're in the downtown area, you can walk right along that sea walk of downtown. Tip for when you're going into Nanaimo, it actually has one of Canada's only floating pubs called the Dinghy Dock. And it's just off Newcastle Island, so you can catch a water taxi from downtown Nanaimo over to the Dinghy Dock pub. It is a great experience, and you can say, I've been to Canada's only floating pub as well. Another pro is that the lower cost of living compared to Victoria. So the price is going to be lower if you're looking to rent or buy a home. And then you're still getting that relatively mild climate year round. I remember the first time I came in to Nanaimo, I saw my first palm tree in Canada right as I got off the ferry in downtown Departure Bay. And then the other pro is the diverse dining options as well. You're not going to have as many of Victoria, but there's still tons of places to eat in Nanaimo. Gina's Mexican restaurant, it's been there for years. Highly recommend it if you like Mexican cuisine. Now let's talk about the cons. Yin and yang, there's always going to be cons. Number one is limited job opportunities in certain industries. So even though you may retire, you may be looking to pick up some extra work, and thinking of that, there is limited options in Nanaimo. And again, some of those areas are going to experience traffic congestion during peak hours, especially along the Nanaimo bypass. There are lights there. Be prepared that you're going to be waiting. So if you live in Cedar and you want to go to the north end where Woodgrove Mall or Costco is, you're going to have a 25 to 30 minute drive minimum of in peak hours. And then the other one is fewer urban amenities compared to those larger cities. So you're not going to get that downtown area that you're going to have in Victoria with the inner harbor. Everything is spaced out a little bit more. So as I mentioned, the major shopping is in the north end. In the south end, it gets a little spare. And then the downtown area, they are starting to revitalize that, but a lot of people do stay clear of that because of homeless issues and crime rates. Now, again, the Vancouver Island Convention Center they've just done there is stunning and beautiful, but there is pockets that I would not walk down late at night, especially with my family. Now, the third place that retirees are flocking to is Courtenay in the Comox Valley. Now, this is where I live myself and my family. We chose to live there because A, it's a safe community. B, it has the beautiful Mount Washington. C, you've got the mountains, you've got the ocean, you've got this downtown that is thriving. It's still mom and pop stores, but then you have all of the amenities of Costco, Home Depots, Walmart, an international airport with WestJet and Air Canada. So this is one of the fastest growing areas on Vancouver Island in the Comox Courtenay area. Now, what are the pros of it? Of course, breathtaking natural scenery. And as I mentioned, Mount Washington. You've also got fishing, sports fishing, whale watching, a stand-up paddleboard, kayaking. There's a plethora of outdoor activities to do here in the Comox Valley. Also, you've got hiking, downhill mountain biking, you've got skiing, you've got all those water sports. Now, compared to the major cities, there is a better chance of finding affordable living. Right? When we look at those price points, they are slightly lower. Now, again, there's always some cons. Despite being more affordable, the costs are steadily increasing. As the word gets out, the valley is growing. When I first moved here 25 years ago, the average home price was $125,000. Now the average home price is $820,000. So be prepared for that. Also, you want to think about the amount of rain that we get per year. Now, if you're coming from places like Toronto and Calgary, the great news is we don't get those -20, -30, and we don't get the snows that you don't have to worry about shoveling it because it's going to be in rain form. Now, job opportunities are limited, but they are growing. Most of the people that are moving here are now working online because of after the pandemic period, and they go, well, if I have to work from home, why wouldn't I want to live somewhere that has beauty, that has outdoor activities, that has a community, and get out of the city? As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I said if you stuck around to the end, I would answer that question. Are home prices going to go down on Vancouver Island in 2025? Well, let's talk about the 3 factors that will affect home prices here on Vancouver Island in the next year. The number 1 factor when we talk about home prices, location, location, location. Vancouver Island is one of the warmest spots in Canada, making it one of the most desirable places to live. As the population increases, the inventory starts to go down. We talk about supply, demand. These are things that will affect the prices of homes. If we look over the last 20 years on Vancouver Island, home prices have always steadily have gone up, and they will continue. Now, the benefit of that is your investment. Buying a home now in 2025 will increase its value over the years. So location is going to be the biggest factor in determining home prices in the next year. Of course, where are you going to buy? If you're buying in Victoria versus buying in Port Hardy, yes, there's going to be a difference in price. If you're moving closer to the ocean or further in the center of the island, that's also going to affect the price. But even in our smaller communities, on the north end of Vancouver Island, Port Hardy, Port McNeill, Port Alice, prices have been on the rise, and the population is pushing north of Campbell River. So that is the first factor, location, which is going to be affecting the prices. The second one is that 90% of the buyers are moving from areas that are not on Vancouver Island. They're moving from Toronto, they're moving from Alberta, Calgary, they're moving from the Lower Mainland, Vancouver, North Vancouver, Surrey. They're making their way over, and what they're doing is they're cashing in on their current homes. A lot of our clients are coming from Vancouver, where the home prices are $3, $4, $5, $6 million, coming over to the island, buying a home worth $1.2 million, and putting that extra money in the bank so that A, they don't have to work as much, they can enjoy the lifestyle on the island, or number two, they're looking to enjoy their retirement or retire early. We have couples that are coming over here every week looking to buy homes from the Vancouver Island area. These are people that are in their late 30s and early 40s that are looking to retire and enjoy the quality of life. Speaking of life, that is our third factor, which is lifestyle. We have the ocean, we have the mountain, we have sports fishing, we have whale watching, we have golfing all year round, we have mountain biking, we have hiking, we have Mount Washington, we have skiing. All of this right here in one spot on Vancouver Island. We talk about island time. When you cross that ferry and you get on the island, you will feel it. Life just slows down that much more. You stop to smell the flowers. You take the time to enjoy the sunrises with your coffee and the sunsets over the mountains. It is a lifestyle that people are looking to live and commit to. So if you're looking to that lifestyle of having a slower pace and enjoying life, that is what Vancouver Island is all about. These are the three factors that are going to affect house prices coming up in 2025. I want to give you a big shout out and a thank you for watching our video today. I hope that you've taken away some nuggets of information that will help you and your family to decide what is the best place for you to live on Vancouver Island. We covered a lot of content today. We talked about the most affordable communities and the most expensive communities on the island. We also talked about safety. What are the safest towns and cities that you'll want to live in? And if you're a retiree, what are the top 3 choices for retirees of where they want to make home on Vancouver Island? We also discussed what are the prediction for the home prices in 2025 and 2026, and what are the factors that are affecting it. Now, if you like the video, click on that subscribe button down below and don't forget to tap that bell so you'll be the first to get notifications on the real estate market on Vancouver Island. Now, all of our contact information is down below. Let's get those questions answered now. Set up a Zoom call with myself, Justin White, or any of our agents at High Tide Real Estate Group. No matter if you're 9 weeks or 9 months away from making the move, let's have a conversation and get those questions answered now so we can make the move smooth and easy for you and your family. Now, if you're planning a trip to Vancouver Island, it'd be great to meet you in person and take you for a tour of our beautiful area. If not, we'll see you on the next video.